Okay, guys, we are at the tail end of my streak training, and today I am most excited about this step because I'm truly going to show you exactly what it looks like when I sit down at my desk every single day and I use Streak for my business. What does that look like? So first off, I personally have a to-do list right next to my desk, and I go through a checklist, and this is just based on the flow of what works for me. So, first I work out, check into groups, but the next thing that I do is I look at all of my recently added friends, who has added me recently, and I go in and I go to my interacting list, and I'm gonna start adding those names. So I'm gonna click new box, and I'm gonna enter in that person's name and the date of our last contact, right? That date of last contact field. So let's say I'm in here, I'm gonna add their name, and oops, I haven't created the date of last contact in this one. So I'm gonna click the date of last contact, and I'm gonna say, okay, it's today. And that's all I do. And I've got that entered in. So for all of my new contacts, that's what I do, all right? Then I send out more friend requests. I go through and I send out my friend requests, okay? Like I like to send out 20 using the People You May Know tool. If you look on my YouTube channel for the daily fours, I walk you through exactly what I do there. With all this, I walk you through it. All right, next up is I look at my personal page, and I look at who has liked or commented on a post, and I will shoot them a message, and I'll just say like, hey, thanks for your comment, your message. Usually I pick just my fitness posts, otherwise I'm sitting there all day. And especially the fitness ones, I can say like, hey, sometimes it's like scary to post yourself, your workout photos. I just want to say thank you. And then immediately after I message them, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to look up their name, see where they're at, and I'm going to indicate that today was the date of the last contact. So look, I used that search tool, so it was super easy. I didn't have to hunt through anything. I clicked on it, and then I edited the date for today, and that's all I had to do. And then I personally just track my daily activity, so I just write their name down so that I make sure that I do my daily fours. Like I've shown this to you guys before, my daily fours chart. All right, just write it in. That way I know it's done. So I do that to anyone who's written on my personal page. Then what I'm going to do is I go over to my like page, and I do the same thing. I look and see who's commented, who's engaging. I quickly take a peek at their profile to see if they're coach or not. If they're not, I shoot them a friend request and do that. Now for that one, you can actually go, remember that relationship building step. I might type in the friend request section their name, right? So I might say blah, 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 and I noticed that she liked a photo of my salad. Oh, my spelling's so bad. So I'll say they liked the photo of my salad. I send out that friend request. That's just so I can remember, so that when they accept it, I have like a memory of why I sent the request and a starting point for a conversation. All right, so then I look at my ad, whatever ad I might have running on my like page. I will send information to those people, and I will be sure to add them into my challenge group pipeline. So go to the challenge group pipeline. I'm going to enter in their information and the date of last contact, what stage they're at, which is usually the sent basic information step. I'm going to add all those people in. And again, I'm writing them down here on my form, okay? If you have a business activity tracker, you can do that too, whatever works for you. So I enter that in. All right, next up. Then I go and I look at whose birthday it is. So I'm gonna go on Facebook, and I'm gonna look and see, okay, there's a couple birthdays today. I look at people, there's coaches on here, so I might shoot Sherry a happy birthday message today. Guys aren't really my market, so I would just shoot him a message, but I'm not tracking it. But Ty is one of my people, so I really want to wish her a happy birthday, let her know I was thinking about her on her birthday. So I shoot her a message or just say, hey, how's it going? And then I go in here, I look up her name, so let's just say it was my birthday. Look up my name, and then I'm going to change the date to today. And that's all I need to do for now. You'll see what I do in a sec. So I go ahead and do that for all the birthdays. And what's cool is when I say like, hey, happy birthday, how are things going today? And they respond back, then I say like, so what's going on with you? What's going on in life lately? And that's a nice way to restart a conversation without, freaking them out or anything. And I love it. All right, so next up, I take my list. So far I've messaged quite a few people, and I look at who have I messaged today? Just message, not invites or anything like that. Who have I just messaged? Have I hit my daily fours? Or for me, I'm shooting for elite, so I say, have I hit my daily 10s? If I haven't, now is when I get to the daily 10s. or my daily fours, daily tens, whatever. So I go to my relationship building list, and I'm going to click on filter or sort. All right. I'm going to say choose column, and I'm going to click on last contact. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I want to look at everyone who I talked to before, and then I pick 7 days ago. So what it's telling me is everyone that it's about to show me is everyone who I talked to over a week ago. So I click OK. Now it's hiding the names right now just for their privacy purposes. I want to hide their names. But what I do next is I say last contact, and then I wanted to sort newest to oldest. Why is that? Well, if you see here, I've got 252 people in this interacting phase. That's a lot of people. And honestly, what was more meaningful is rather than casting a large net, cast a smaller one. So I'm just talking to those people who I talked to a week ago, right? The most recent people will be a week ago, and I'm getting those conversations moving, because what's the ultimate goal? To move them here, to move them here, to move them through this pipeline and get them out of this stage as I'm learning more about them. So the best way to do that is to keep those conversations as fresh as possible. So I do that. And if you're trying to like really push your business forward, maybe you're not doing 4-day, you're trying to do as many as possible, get through this list, interact with people, keep going. That's a great way to do it. So I just fill that up, okay? So that's my next step. Then right after that, I do my follow-ups. So let me show you what follow-ups look like. First of all, I go into my free group list. I'm going to click on filter, and then I'm going to click last contact before, and I'm going to choose 2 days ago. That's just my standard for follow-ups, and I'm going to see who it says. And I'm going to message anyone here. I'm not just going to pick 4. I'm going to do everyone. And I'm going to look at their name, and I'm going to look at the last email I sent from them. Because remember, in their box, I can access that email. Just look at the last email. I'm going to open that email up, see what I said. And, if it was a question I asked them or whatever, I'm going to reply and send them one of those snippets that we created, a really quick snippet. If I open that email and I see that they already, that I already sent a follow-up, then I send my final follow-up. What I do then, so let's say someone's interested in the free group, I've sent my final follow-up, okay? Then what I'm gonna do is, so I've messaged this person and said, all right, this is it, it's your last chance. Usually when I send not usually, but a lot of times when I send a final follow-up, they're done. So I just wanna move them so I don't forget to do it later. So I move them to the relationship building pipeline, okay? And I move them to the step of invite. So I treat them like I just invited them, right? That way, like a week from now, I may add value to them. A week after that, add value. I'm still connecting with them until it is just so abundantly clear that it's not a good time for them, and that's totally cool. So that's what I do there as far as my follow-ups. I do that all the way down my list. Everyone who I haven't talked to in over 2 days, I look at my follow-ups, send a snippet if need be, or I move them back to the relationship building step, okay? So then the next thing that I do, I check my, emails, Facebook messages, and then invites. Okay, so invites are often, I put it after my emails simply because a lot of my invites come up very naturally in conversations. So it just depends on what you're most comfortable with. If you need to eat that frog, you can do it first. I tend to just get it done through what I say to people, right? So I get my daily 4s of my invites in, or since I'm shooting for Elite, I get my 10 invites in. So how I do this. All right, so first of all, if I've gone through my email, I've sent out, if any invites happen, cool. As I'm connecting with my friends, right? As I'm getting that one list up to 4 or 10, I'm paying attention. Do I know this person's family? Do I know their occupation? Do I know, their hobbies and recreation? If so, perhaps they are ready for that invite. So if that is the case, I'm going to shoot that invite out to them. Okay, that's my ultimate goal in that interacting step of the relationship building process. So I was paying attention to that as I was connecting with people. Okay, so I've already paid attention to that, and I've gone through my emails, and I may have invited people that way. If I still need to invite people, then the next thing I do is I go back to that relationship building step, and I look and see anyone who is at this value 2 step, just a step before invite, right here, okay? Or value 4. just my stage where they're at. Here's what this means. So I sent them an invite. Then using my filter tool, which I'll show you in a little bit how I do this, I a week later message them, and I might send them something of value, like, you know, an article that I thought would be cool for them, or just letting them know I think about them, just engaging with them, you know, letting them know I really care. Then a week later, I do the same thing. And then a week later, I have another invite. So that's how, if today I need to get in my invites, I know that there are 2 people here who at this stage who might be ready to be moved to right over here. So that's a way that I can get it in. And then just like on top of that, just like thinking about who you feel could be ready for that. But really, if you're doing a lot of conversations like this, if you're really focusing on getting these conversations, you'll find that oftentimes it's pretty easy to get in the invites in daily force because they're moving along pretty well. So that helps. And if all else fails, a Facebook ad. I mean, I've got 32 invites here, and that's just like Facebook ad. So yeah, I go ahead and do that. Then the next step is I do Coach Online Office. You know, I check on that if I have a new lead, right? So if I have a lead, I'm going to add them to that independent customers list. And I immediately label them as someone who is not responding. I just assume they're not going to. And then if they respond, awesome, I move them to wherever they want to go. So I'll message them, check on my coaches' statuses, and I might update their statuses usually on Monday and check in with them there. Then the last thing I do, and it's not every day, I tend to not get to this step, but I just want to let you know, is I then message these people here who've been here for a little bit, and I might add value to them, just like I was telling you. Or I might message people here and add value to them. So I might do something like that, okay, like just to add a little value, bit of value if I have extra time. Other tasks that I would do, let me pull up my weekly list, is I might, you know, on Monday, I might email all my coaches, like wish them a happy week, remind them of what the team call topic is, any like little announcements, I'll send it to them, or even just make it like, hey, I just want to check in, how's your business going? Or I might message my independent customers who are using products, but they're not in the challenge group, shoot them a message. Or I might, you know, every couple times a week, send a message using the mail merge tool to my challengers and say like, hey, you know, here's a little tip for you to think about for today, and I can send it that way. So, you know, you find little things to do here and there all over the place using this tool, but man, it saves a ton of time. So I hope this helps. This is just how I use it, and it seriously saves my booty in my business. So I figure it's worth showing you. All right, bye everybody.